Hey guys, today I wanted to briefly share with you how I did this little stain, this Ken stain on my Kendama USA Classic. Right here, it's kind of a subtle stain, but I thought I'd walk you through the process and my thoughts on it so far. So as you can see, compared to this other Kendama USA Classic, it's not a very significant difference, but it's kind of nice. And I was looking up some different posts on, I think that I saw one on Reddit and on some forums, and then there are a lot of other resources online on how to do wood stains using steel wool and vinegar. So I thought why not give it a try? It'd be kind of fun. So I went for it, and I ran into a couple problems. First being, I went to the store specifically and bought steel wool for this project because I didn't have any laying around the house. We already had a bunch of white vinegar, and I put it in this jar and waited. You're supposed to wait like a day or two. And this looks pretty nasty right now, but nothing really happened. I even tried to make a little time lapse to show the chemical reaction. What's supposed to happen is a chemical reaction happens with the vinegar and the steel and rust and all this crazy stuff happens, and nothing ever happened. And I got pretty bummed after 3 or 4 days that nothing happened. So I went ahead and I knew that I had some steel ammo that I use for a slingshot. So I used some of the steel ammo. Whoa. I used some of the steel ammo and used that in and put it in with white vinegar, and I got a reaction. It worked after a couple days, after like a day, or after a few moments. It started bubbling. There was a lot of bubbles and stuff, and then within 8 to 12 hours, it was pretty gnarly looking. Now I'm going to show you how it is now after 3 or 4 weeks. I left it, and I shouldn't have left it. This is what it looks like now, and it is pretty gnarly looking. I left this too long, and I'll come back to this in a minute and what I should have done. But after a day or two, this was getting kind of crazy looking. So I took this all apart and I brushed it on pretty thickly. I didn't really try to brush it evenly or anything. I just kind of brushed it on thickly, and at first it ends up looking just like the wood is getting wet and doesn't seem like anything is happening. But after it starts to dry, this color settles in, and it is a fairly light stain, and that's because this is birch wood, and birch wood doesn't have a lot of tannins in it. If you do it with wood with a lot of tannins, a darker wood, basically, the stain is much darker. It's called ebonizing wood. So there are ways to, if I do it again, I'll probably try to make it darker, and some ways you can do that is to add tannins in. You can either mix your concoction with like coffee or tea, or what I'll probably do is actually brush on the tea, like a black tea, directly onto the wood first, and then brush on the stain afterwards. So a couple issues with this project. First one being that after I did it, I waited for it to dry, and it seemed to take a long time to dry, and it smelled like vinegar for quite a while. And then once I finally thought it was dry, the wood itself seemed to take on a slightly different feel to it. It didn't feel as smooth. It kind of felt a little bit rough, and the serrato wouldn't go on all the way. It was like getting stuck up here. It had swollen the wood somehow, and beyond swelling the wood, it might have done even more than that. And so I actually had to take a round file and file, in the hole part down in here, to widen it just slightly to get the serrato to fit on well. The spike is still a little bit short, but I think it's okay. So that wasn't ideal, but it ended up working out. So what I might do next time is brush the Ken down with just water, and then do like a light sanding after the wood swells and dries, and then do the stain, and that might help. Secondly is, if you want to, after you're done with your main staining concoction, you should probably either throw it out, or if you want to keep it, you need to take out the steel wool or whatever steel you have in here, whether it's ammo like mine or nails or staples or whatever. It'll work with any real steel. I don't know what happened with this. I don't know why this didn't work. Somehow it wasn't real steel wool. I don't know. But you should either throw this out, or you can strain out the liquid and keep that separate, and then you can use it later. But if you leave it, what's going to happen is what happened to mine. It just keeps reacting, and the liquid kind of goes away, and you're left with this crazy mess. So I'm going to have to throw this out. but moving forward you can actually keep it around for another time. So that was my foray. Again, next time I'm gonna probably try a darker stain by adding some extra tannin, and I'm gonna treat the wood differently. So I thought it was a fun kind of first DIY project, kendama related. I think what I want to try eventually is to do kind of do a wormhole, like a grain theory, kind of a poor man's wormhole. And I also would like to try to make some kind of kendama holster as well. I think that would be cool. So other things about this channel, moving forward, I'm kind of struggling on what to show each video because my progression has slowed, I feel like. I don't have a lot of time to practice each day. There are people that are practicing hours, an hour plus each day, and so their progression seems to continue to move forward. Mine is getting a little slow, I feel like. So what I'm gonna try to do is add in some videos like this where I talk about different things kendama related. And I also want to expand the channel to talk about some other hobbies. For instance, yo-yos got me into kendama. Maybe I'll talk about yo-yos or slingshots or some other fun little things in the future. Music. So look forward to those in upcoming days or weeks. Other than that, I have been practicing mostly currently right now, since I have limited time. I'm kind of practicing one-turn lighthouse and lighthouse flips. And I don't feel like I'm making a lot of progress there, but that's kind of the current thing that I'm working on. That is all for today's video. I'll have another video up later this week, and look out for the future for other videos, maybe with some music stuff, yo-yo stuff. I might make a hobby video that kind of quickly lists several hobbies and see what you guys might be interested in, and maybe do those first. But eventually I want to touch on all of them because it's fun. And like kendama, a lot of the hobbies, I like them because they promote creativity. They promote, getting out and doing something besides looking at a TV screen. And there's something that is fun to share with others, or do that's more productive than just consumption of media. So that's kind of why I like the different stuff, and that's kind of want to share them. So that's all for today. See you guys later.